In 1861, a great conflict, the Civil War, divided America. Those in the North were called the Federals, or Union. Those in the South were called the Confederates, because in 1860 and 61, 11 slaveholding Southern states seceded from the United States to form their own government, the Confederate States of America. Those seceding states believed that each individual state, and not the federal government, had the right to determine whether the holding of slaves was legal or not. The Act of Secession led to war, a war which eventually caused more American deaths than any other single war the United States has ever fought. Sides, songs and music were composed to rally the troops. Music was played on the march, in camp, and even in battle. Band concerts and singing around the campfires with fiddles, guitars, or banjos were a regular part of Army life. In fact, so much so that Confederate General Robert E. Lee once remarked, "I don't believe we can have an army without music." Today our program relives some of the most popular songs created during and about the American Civil War on both sides of the conflict. It also includes actual letters, diaries, and memoirs written by soldiers and their loved ones during that time and later as people reflected on the conflict. When peace was shattered, young men joined the war effort on both sides. From the simple joys of life, such as hugging their sweethearts and dancing, to Cotton Eye Joe, they armed themselves to face a future filled with uncertainty.
Knapsack on my back, my rifle on my shoulder. I'm going away to Shiloh, and there I'll be a soldier. Shiloh, and there I'll be a soldier.
War tears loved ones apart. A heartbroken farm girl left behind at Buttermilk Hill, a mountain in New York State, sings of her woe at having to part with the young lad she loves.
Here I sit on Buttermilk Hill. Who could blame me, cry my fill, and every tear would turn a mill. Johnny is gone for a soldier. Shoo, 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 la gra. Time can only heal my woe, since the lad of my heart from me did go. Johnny is gone for a soldier. Me, oh my, I loved him so. Broke my heart to see him go. And only time will heal my woe. Johnny is gone for a soldier. Shoo, 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 la bra. Time can only heal my woe, since the lad of my heart from me did go. Johnny is gone for a soldier. I'll sell my clock, I'll sell my reel. Likewise I'll sell my spinning wheel, to buy my love a sword of steel. Johnny is gone for a soldier. Shoo, 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 la gra. Time can only heal my woe, since the lad of my heart from me did go. Johnny is gone for a soldier. I'll dye my dress, I'll dye it red. Through the streets I'll beg my bread. Through the streets I'll beg my bread. Johnny is gone for a soldier. Shoo, 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 la gra. Time can only heal my woe, since the lad of my heart from me did go. Johnny is gone for a soldier. Here I sit on Buttermilk Hill. Who could blame me, cry my fill, and every tear will turn a mill. Johnny is gone for a soldier. Shoo, 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 la gra. Time can only heal my woe, since the lad of my heart from me did go. Johnny is gone for a soldier. Shoo, 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 la gra. Time can only heal my woe, since the lad of my heart from me did go. Johnny is gone for a soldier.
In another part of the country, the boys of the South raise high their bonny blue flag and sing the song that became one of the most popular in the South during the Civil War. In fact, it rallied so many to the Southern cause that the Union general, Benjamin Butler, destroyed all the printed copies he could find of it, jailed the publisher, and threatened to fine anyone, even a child, caught singing the song or whistling the melody.
We are a band of brothers, native to the soil, fighting for property we gained by honest toil. And when our rights were threatened, the cry rose near and far, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. As long as the Union was faithful to her trust, like friends and like brothers, both kind we were and just. But now when Northern treachery attempts our rights to mar, we hoist on high the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Then here's to our Confederacy, strong are we and brave. Like patriots of old, we'll fight our heritage to save. And rather than submit to shame to die, we would prefer. So cheer for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah, hurrah for Southern rights, hurrah, hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star.
A lot of families divided. Some went to the south, some went to the north. Brothers. Grandfather was Confederate, Calvin Hart, and he had a brother, Bun Hart, Confederate. And there was a John Hart, who was a nephew, and they had a brother-in-law, and all four of them went to the Confederate Army. But my grandfather, Calvin Hart, had another brother who had gone out, I believe, Kansas. He was in the Union Army. They didn't claim him, I don't think, until the war was over. He disowned the rebels back here, and they disowned him. They made up after the war. It's a story I got.
Two brothers on their way, two brothers on their way, two brothers on their way. One wore blue and one wore gray. One wore blue and one wore gray as they marched along their way. The fife and drum began to play, all on a beautiful morning.
One was gentle, one was kind. One was gentle, one was kind. One came home, one stayed behind.
Cannonball, don't pay no mind. Cannonball, don't pay no mind. If you're gentle or if you're kind, don't care about the folks behind. All on a beautiful morning. Two girls waiting by the railroad track. Two girls waiting by the railroad track. Two girls waiting by the railroad track. One wore blue and one wore black. One wore blue and one wore black, waiting by the railroad.
to come back. All on a beautiful morning.
Those left behind at home suffered the hardships of war too. In her memoir, Ida Baker, who lived in the southern town of Union, South Carolina, remembers what Christmas time was like during the war years.
Christmas time, as during the war, people in Union did not have luxuries at all. Union was only a village, and the stores did not carry much at best. Charleston was blockaded. Everybody had to use parched wheat, parched okra seed, or parched raw sweet potato chips for coffee. We had plenty of food during the war. The woods were dense, and they were full of wild animal life, and the streams were full of fish. On Christmas, the dinner tables were weighted down with turkey and other wild fowls and many delicacies from the garden, field, or stream. Beautiful clothes were rare during the war. Most folks had to go back to the loom and spinning wheel of Revolutionary times. My mother brought 4 trunks full of silks, satins, brocades, and linens at the outbreak of the war. Mother had these trunks stored in our attic in the house. We only made clothes during the war, and the materials in the trunks lasted. During the war, Union was as gay on the surface as ever when the soldiers came home on furlough, wounded, maimed, and filthy. The women took them and cleaned them up and patched their ragged clothes and had parties and dances for them. The women of Union could and did dance and sing and make merry with aching and bleeding hearts to keep up the spirits and courage of their men folks who came home so discouraged and blue in the face of defeat. The Union soldiers outnumbered ours 4-1 to the last. Women did everything. They never gave up, and they never stopped making much with nothing.
I wish I was in the land of cotton, old time time not forgotten. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. In Dixieland where I was born, and early on one frosty morning. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland. Then I wish I was in Dixie, hooray, hooray. In Dixieland I'll take my stand to live and die in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie.
I Wish I Was in Dixie, a popular song from the South, was written in 1859 by Daniel Emmett, a northern composer from Mount Vernon, Ohio. During the war, it was adopted as the unofficial anthem of the Confederate States of America. There are a few explanations about the origin of the term Dixie. One is that it came from the name of Jeremiah Dixon, one of the 2 surveyors who had set the boundary between the states of Maryland and Pennsylvania. During the Civil War, this border came to be known as the Mason-Dixon line, an imaginary line that separated the northern states from the southern states. The southern states were the Dixieland of the song.
Then I wish I was in Dixie, hooray, hooray. In Dixieland I'll take my stand to live and die in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. Away, away, away down south in Dixie. Yahoo! One
of the most famous camp songs of the time was Goober Peas. Goobers, or peanuts, were a staple food for the Confederates. Imagine the soldiers sitting around the campfire singing this comic song to lessen the hardships of the day.
Sitting by the roadside on a summer's day, chatting with my messmates, passing time away. Lying in the shadow underneath the trees, goodness how delicious, eating goober peas. Peas, 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 eating goober peas. Goodness how delicious, eating goober peas. Soldiers have a rule to cry out at their loudest, Mister, here's your mule. But another pleasure enchantinger than these is wearing out your grinders, eating goober peas. Peas, 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 eating goober peas. Goodness, how delicious, eating goober peas. General hears a row. He says the Yanks are coming, I hear their rifles now. He turns around in wonder, and what do you think he sees? The Georgia militia eating goober peas. Peas, 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 eating goober peas. Goodness, how delicious, eating goober peas. My song has lasted almost long enough. The subject's interesting, but rhymes are mighty rough. I wish this war were over, when free from rags and fleas, we'd kiss our wives and sweethearts, gobble goober peas. Peas, 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 eating goober peas. Goodness, how delicious, eating goober peas.
George Julian Pratt was 18 years old when he enlisted in the G Company, 59th Virginia Volunteer Infantry. On August 30th, 1861, he wrote a letter to his mother, Evelina Pratt, from Dogwood Gap, Virginia. The war records show that soon after this letter was written, George was captured and held prisoner until the following year, when he was part of a prisoner exchange. From there, he went on to serve in the H Company of the 18th Virginia Cavalry.
Dear Mother, we are now and have been for a week on half rations. It is right hard to be sure, but can't be helped just now. We are willing to submit to almost any hardships for the good of the cause, on the success of which rests rights and liberties. The want of provision will, I suppose, be soon remedied, as it is due in some degree to our forced march and the uncertainty of the undertaking. I hope, dear Mother, you may be blessed with strength and health to stand all that is required. Oh, how dearly should I like to see my two darling little brothers. I used to think them troublesome when at home, but I have forgotten it all now, and frequently feel sadly grieved at my past conduct to all of you. Should I live through this war, It will have been of vast benefit to me. I will know the importance of home, and feel with a keener relish the many kind offices which so endear it to me. Your affectionate son, George.
Just before the battle, mother, I am thinking most of you, while upon the field we're watching, with the enemy in view. Comrades brave around me lying, filled with thoughts of home and God. For well they know that on the morrow some will sleep beneath the sun. Farewell, mother, you may never, mother, press me to your breast again. But oh, you'll not forget me, mother, if I'm numbered with the slain. Oh, I long to see you, mother, and the loving ones at home. But I'll never leave our banner till in honor I can come. Tell the traitors all around you that their cruel words we know. In every battle kill our soldiers by the help they give the foe. Farewell, mother, you may never, mother, press me to your breast again. But oh, you'll not forget me, mother, if I'm numbered with the slain. Hark, I hear the bugle sounding, 'tis the signal for the fight. Now may God protect us, mother, as he ever does the right. Hear the battle cry of freedom, how it swells upon the air. Oh yes, we'll rally round the standard, or we'll perish nobly there. Farewell, mother, you may never, mother, press me to your breast again. But oh, you'll not forget me, mother, if I'm numbered with the slain.
On December 13, 1862, in Fredericksburg, Virginia, the Northern General Ambrose Burnside launched an attack on the Southern General Robert E. Lee's strong defenses. In that battle, the Union Army lost 10,000 soldiers. One Confederate officer at the time stated that,
"A chicken couldn't have lived in that line of fire."
Another account reads,
"It melted like snow on the ground. Wave after wave of Federal soldiers charging uphill across an open muddy plain. They charged, faltered, and died. I had never before seen any fighting like that, nothing approaching it in terrible uproar and destruction. It is only murder now."
The following song, Fredericksburg, 1862, tells the true story of Sergeant Richard Rowland Kirkland of the 2nd South Carolina Volunteers. Overcoming his own fear, he left the safety of his cover behind a stone wall and took his chances carrying water and blankets to the wounded and dying Northern soldiers on the slope below him. His heroism and humanity gained him respect from both sides, earning him the title, the Angel of Mary's Heights.
They might have crossed the Rubicon and charged the gates of hell. No mortal man could cross that land the rebels raked so well. The soil was sown with flesh and bone and watered down with blood. As drops of rain they fell to stain that field of frozen mud. That field of frozen mud. A quarter mile of open ground beneath a wall of stone. Their feet did hardly touch the ground for treading on their own. The Yankees in their thousands dead and dying all around. Like rye before the reaper, the rebels cut them down. The rebels cut them down. Their screaming and their misery was more than I could stand. Their bodies torn and shattered from the doing of our hands. To die alone, no family in unfamiliar land. They wore the Union colors, but a man is still a man. Man is still a man. The boys decried my folly when I told to them my plan to climb across that wall of stone into that slaughter pen. My suicide a certainty, I'd not return again. But I had taken orders from beyond the realm of men. From beyond the realm of men. The Union boys, they opened with a rifle ball or two. But soon their guns were silent, for they saw what I would do. A rebel bearing water to the dying Yankee men. They drained what I could carry, then back to that well again. Back to that well again. How many times I did return there to that killing place, to see the desperate gratitude on some poor soldier's face. How many never lived to see their home so far away? Dark visions burned in memory from what we saw that day. From what we saw that day. They might have crossed the Rubicon and charged the gates of hell. No mortal man could cross that land the rebels raked so well. The soil was sown with flesh and bone and watered down with blood. As drops of rain they fell to stain that field of frozen mud. That field of frozen mud.
When someone is so far from home and doesn't know when the next battle call will come, it must be a relief to receive a letter from home or from a friend. One unknown Union soldier from the 11th New York Battery writes back to a lass named Hattie, who had responded to his advertisement in a Lonely Hearts magazine, The Waverly.
Camp of the 11th New York Battery, February 9th, 1864. Dear Hattie, pardon the affectionate familiarity, but you know it's all in fun. Your charming little epistle has just reached me, and I do myself the honor to answer it immediately, thus complying with your request to write soon. Before proceeding further, truth and candor compel me to acknowledge that a little deception was used in the advertisement in the Waverly. In other words, my true description differs materially from the one therein set forth, and may not please you as well as the one fancy painted. But I thought it was all for fun, and therefore funningly gave a fictitious description as well. Be it known unto you then, this individual is 29 years of age, 5 feet and 11 inches high, dark blue eyes, brown hair, and light ruddy complexion. And there you have it. How do you like the description? Methinks I hear you answer, I don't like it. Well, I'll admit it is not quite so fascinating to a young lady as the fictitious one, but it is a fixed fact which altereth not. I promise, on the honor of a gentleman and soldier, that I have thus far given a true description of myself. It remains for me to add that I was formerly a private, but am now a lieutenant in Uncle Samuel's service. It is said that a person's writing is indication of their character. If so, judging from your letter, I commend you as a girl who has life and animation enough to enjoy the harmless pleasures of this beautiful world, in preference to Miss Prim, who would not dare to laugh in louder tones than a sentimental snicker for fear of overstepping the bounds of etiquette. No, indeed, none of your Miss Prims for me. I love the gaily ringing laugh of true and gladsome hearts. You ask for a description of camp life, but I have written so much I will defer that until another time. Suffice to say that the Blue Jackets are pretty comfortably situated, for soldiers, in winter quarters, where they will probably remain until the time comes for them to sally forth.
Again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We'll rally from the hillsides and gather from the plain, shouting the battle cry of freedom. Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and up with the star, as we rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We will welcome to our numbers the loyal, true, and brave, shouting the battle cry of freedom. And although he may be poor, he shall never be a slave, shouting the battle cry of freedom. Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and up with the star, as we rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and up with the star, as we rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom.
The previous tune, Rally Round the Flag, also known as the Battle Cry of Freedom, was written in 1862 by George Frederick Root. Its lyrics exhort the states to remain within the Union and also to abolish slavery.
And I go home to my Lord and be free. Yes, I'll be free.
Look, see up there? That's how we know where we are and where we're going.
The Song of the Underground Railroad. It told the slaves in their own language how to travel out of bondage. It told them when to go, what rivers to follow, what mountains to pass over, what turnings to make, who to ask for, and always to keep their eyes to the north where freedom was, under the sign of the drinking gourd. That was the Big Dipper. And so their song was called Follow the Drinking Gourd.
Follow, follow, follow.
Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom. Follow the drinking gourd. When the sun comes back and the first quail calls, follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom. Just follow the drinking gourd. Follow the follow the drinking gourd. Now the river bank will make a mighty good road. The dead trees will show you the way. Left foot, peg foot, traveling on. Just you follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom. Follow the drinking gourd. Now the river ends between two hills. Follow the drinking gourd. There's another river on the other side. Just you follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. For the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom. Follow the drinking gourd.
During the third year of the war, on January 1, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. This proclamation declared,
"All persons held as slaves are and henceforward shall be free."
A year earlier, in 1862, President Lincoln had heard a song written by Julia Ward Howe that came to be known as the Battle Hymn of the Republic. The first time he heard it, he is said to have cried. The Union Army adopted this hymn as its unofficial song.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have builded him an altar in the evening dews and damps. I can read his righteous sentence by the dim and flaring lamps. His day is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
Letter to Mrs. Bixby, Executive Mansion, Washington, November 21, 1864. Dear Madam, I have been shown in the files of the War Department a statement from the Adjutant General of Massachusetts that you are the mother of 5 sons who have died gloriously on the field of battle. I feel how weak and fruitless must be any words of mine which should attempt to beguile you from the grief of a loss so overwhelming. But I cannot refrain from tendering to you the consolation that may be found in the thanks of the Republic they died to save. I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost, and the solemn pride that must be yours, to have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. Yours very sincerely and respectfully, Abraham Lincoln.
The end of the American Civil War came on April 9, 1865, when General Lee surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant at the Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. Then the soldiers began their long journeys home. It was the joy and relief for those who returned that Pat Gilmore, bandmaster of the United States Army, had anticipated when writing his tune When Johnny Comes Marching Home Again in 1863. It had at last become a reality.
No sounds of battle rend the air, no shrieks of passion or despair, but from the woods, the vales, the hills, sweet peace the air with music fills. Take up, ye voices, all the song, with high acclaim, the strain